Statistics suggest I shouldn't be on track to graduate from high school. Not only was I born to teenage parents, but from the age of 4 to 13, I was an innocent victim of ongoing sexual, physical, and verbal abuse. When my parents had me, they were quite young, my mom being only 16 and my dad about to turn 18. At the time of my birth, my dad was in a juvenile detention center. I'm not sure when he was released and decided to be a part of my life, but I do remember my grandma telling me they didn't stay together long after I was born. My first 3 years were spent shuffled between my mom and paternal grandparents until my mom went out of state to visit her family, leaving me in the care of a friend. The real story is that she left me behind with no intention of returning. Once her friend realized this and grew weary of the extra responsibility, she tracked my mom down and drove through the night to reunite us. From then on, every couple of months, I was shuttled from Alabama to Florida because my parents shared custody. Concerned with what they felt was a rapidly declining situation for me, my dad and grandparents drove to Alabama with a court order and police escort to retrieve me once and for all. Finally relieved of her parenting responsibilities, she decided to stop showing up for court dates and lost all parental rights. I didn't see my mom until I was surprised by her at my high school graduation. I was 4 years old. From then on, I lived with my grandparents while my dad was away at work or in jail. I hardly ever got to see him before I was told he had died of sepsis. I later found out he actually died from shooting up bath salts. I had lost both of my parents. I was 7 years old. Now in the sole custody of my grandparents, my grandfather became increasingly abusive to both my grandma and me. The physical violence and verbal threats often came at gunpoint. The last day I lived with them, their argument had escalated to a level I felt I had to call the police or watch my grandmother be killed. Along with multiple officers, Child Protective Services also responded. In addition to the violent situation, they found meth and cocaine in the house. As CPS led me and my cousin away, my grandfather told me I was going to end up a statistic, just like my father. He wasn't wrong. I was 11 years old when I entered the foster care system. I spent the next 6 years in and out of juvie, on and off probation, running away from foster placements, smoking and drinking every day, occasionally trying new drugs, and constantly suspended from school. Within this dysfunction, I was forced to move 12 times, adjusting time and time again to new rules, schedules, and people. I was unhealthy but expected to better myself despite my surroundings. I was thrown in different group homes with other girls who needed to do the same. I tried anything to cope with the agony that I was feeling inside. I started having sex with older men who made me feel wanted. I drank my emotions away. I smoked until I lost myself. I had no ability to imagine a future with possibilities. I believed I was destined to be exactly what my grandfather said. I was 13 years old when a family in California offered me a permanent placement through adoption in November of 2017. The atmosphere and treatment I received was different from what I experienced in Florida. All of a sudden, I had people in my life who devoted their entire world to me and showed me endless times how important I was to them. Having survived abuse, neglect, and living in foster care for the majority of my life, it took me a while to turn my life around. With the endless support of those around me, I found the benefit in taking care of myself. First, I adjusted my diet and quit smoking. After I found the value in abstaining from smoking or drinking, I realized it would also be beneficial to my life to end the unhealthy friendships that I had. I was 14 years old when AVID entered my life, and I first began to imagine possibilities for a future. 4 years ago, I didn't believe myself capable of graduating high school, let alone enrolling in advanced classes or being recognized on the honor roll. So when I looked at the AVID flyer as an 8th grader, I didn't think I'd be accepted into the program at San Clemente High School. Throughout elementary and middle school, I was never motivated. I required constant reminders to check my grades and do in-class work, much less homework. I was failing most of my tests, so my grades were subpar. My motivation was non-existent. Despite having a GPA below the required threshold, I had the support of my new mom, so I decided to apply anyway. Joining AVID quickly became the best decision that I had ever made. Right away, I began learning about organization, getting academic support through our tutorial sessions, understanding how to create a 4-year plan for myself, and doing it all while immersed in an environment that fostered effort and expectation. The amount of support I received from my AVID teacher, Miss Dollar. Can you stand up? The amount of support that I received from her is beyond what I could ever ask for from anyone. The skills and support provided by AVID offered me the opportunity to reinvent myself as a student and carried over to me as a person. Over the course of 4 years, Ms. Dollar invested in me as she guided me in learning about the elements of Wicker, choosing high school courses, getting involved in community service, learning to work productively in tutorial groups, long-range goals and plans, focus notes, study techniques, and maintaining a system of organization. Walking into the AVID classroom every day throughout the years felt like a home away from home. The same room, the same students, allowing me to be comfortable. I learned to value and take pride in my learning. For the first time in my education, I earned placement in advanced and accelerated courses, the first step in equipping myself for college. I was surrounded by a positive peer group and classmates with the same goals. We would meet during tutorials, and they helped me catch up academically, prepare for tests, and work through points of confusion. I went from being a barely passing freshman to taking advanced summer math classes, enrolling in honors courses, and being on track for college. I developed intrinsic motivation. I made sure my teachers and parents no longer had to push me to do homework, study, or pay attention in class. As a graduating AVID senior, I have a 3.78 GPA and a transcript that proves I continually challenge myself with honors and AP classes. I have received a number of awards such as honor roll recognitions and an achievement award in AVID. Taking advantage of this educational opportunity literally changed the course of my life, and now as the AVID Mentor Committee President, I share my story to help other students learn how to take advantage of AVID as early as they can in hopes of changing their lives as well. I feel like I've begun the process of becoming the best version of myself. I've put so much effort into keeping my grades up, focusing my notes, and making sure I study enough so I can improve my test scores. I've started to imagine the possibilities of what I'm capable of. Now I have big life goals. Before AVID, I had little expectation of being more than what life had shown me I was destined to be. Despite my background, I've pushed myself to a place of being worthy to attend college and make future plans for myself. I have over 7 acceptances to college and universities. And over $200,000 in scholarship offers. And I have decided to attend Stanford University in Birmingham, Alabama. The excitement I have towards having a choice in going to college isn't something I can adequately put into words yet. To know where I started off as a freshman versus being a month shy of attending college leaves me flabbergasted. Now I'm about to be 18 years old. I didn't think I would graduate high school, much less be choosing from 7 college admissions where I would spend the next 4 years. But my achievements are much more than what they seem. I have proven to myself and the others who doubted me that I am capable of conquering so much more than anyone ever thought. It turns out, I am a statistic, I'm an AVID success story, and I'm going to college. Imagine the possibilities now.